So I've used these ones, these big ones, lots of times. I'm gonna make the camera go up a little bit. And you just take them out, twist them, and they stack. Each layer has 3 plants, which is fabulous. I have 8 of these in the yard. But then I found these little ones because Tiffany over at Team Benson's Desert Garden over by Phoenix showed these on her YouTube video, and I fell in love with the little ones too, besides the big ones that I have 8 in my gardens. And I got these little ones at the Dollar Tree store, and they come in actually 3 colors that I saw: the terracotta, the green, and this gray colored. And it works the same way. You just simply put those and stack them up. So very quickly you have 9 plants in an area where you probably would have had 3 at the most, and more than likely only 1 or 2. So I thought, what can I do with these? What can I put in them? So my first one is going to have cacti and succulents in them. And each one of these little cacti can actually make a new plant. These little tops can make a new plant. Breaking off these leaves can make a new plant. So that's another video. But I'm going to plant 3 here. 3, 3, 3, 3. And there is a certain amount of soil in each of these right now, but not enough, because I need to fill and pack inside here also when you go to stack it. So let's get some ready. Let's do our very first row. I have some potting soil. You can actually buy potting soil that's for cacti. I don't happen to have any with me today, so I added a lot of perlite. If you have horticulture grit, you can also add that. And so we're going to put some into our first container. Now, you can punch these little holes out. I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it very dry, not adding a lot of water. And what I'm going to first do is just spread a layer all the way through. And the first ones that I'm going to do are these little pearls. And so I'm going to tap that. A lot of times if you squeeze, it'll start to come out. It's not too root bound, but you can see the roots. And the reason why I'm doing this on the first layer is because I want these pearls to cascade all around. Now let's turn this around, because there is space. There's a little fuzz there, a little plant material in between here. And I do need to fill that up. So I'm just going to gently put that in there and push it down. And I'll do that all the way around. Now this one is about to flower. And so that'll be interesting when it starts to do that. Just take your time. Now, some of the other things I'm going to plant in these, not today. I'm going to do some microgreens. I think I can start some herbs in there. And I can do some actually little vegetables that I could plant out later. The other thing, microgreens, herbs. If you kept your herbs small, or you just let them grow for a while and then transplanted them, these become unstacked so easily. They're just resting. So you can easily take it out, replace it, and put something else in your stack. So I'm going to do the other 2. You do need to fill in this center. A couple of reasons. You don't want the soil, when it gets watered, to release around the plant and just go into that center. Also, the roots will extend down into that. So with this one, I'm actually going to give it a soak. I'm just going to let that soak in. This one right here was fairly dry when I took it out of the pot. So that one I'm going to get a little bit more water. And then I'm just going to set this to the side and do our next layer. When it comes to doing the cacti, you do have to be a lot more careful. And let me pick one of these up. It's got a little plant material right there. I'm just going to squeeze that. I want it to pop out so I can grab the soil. There it goes. Because you're much better off holding onto the soil than you are onto the cacti. And then you can adjust it and push that soil down in there. Otherwise you will end up having little stickers on you. Now, there's a lot of times that there'll be little pieces that grab hold onto the little spines. So I'm going to use a tweezer later, and I'm going to take out any little plant material that's around there. But it's just a matter of tucking that in. And remember, if you break any of those off, you let those dry for a few days, a week, and you can literally make yourself some more plants. But on today's video, I'm just going to show you this. Okay, so let's take another one. And I'm just going to squeeze it, have it shake out. And when these get too big, I'm going to plant them in my cacti garden that I've started. So, see how I can just take my fingernail and brush off any of that soil. It doesn't stick to my fingernail where it would to my skin. And I'm going to just press that down in there. And I'm going to just go all the way around and get those in there. Here's a little piece of cacti that broke off. And luckily this one, you know, some of them you barely touch and you got the stickers, the thorns all in you. But this one, do be careful because you could get some stickers in you. But I'm going to let that dry for about a week. I'm just going to set it on some soil and it will start to root itself. Completely dry soil. And I'm going to let these just settle in. I'm going to give it a little bit of water, not much, so just to get some of that soil off. And next week I will break some off and I'll show you about planting those. Now this is my top layer. And see, there is another one of those little cacti. So I'm going to just shake that out first. So there'll be 2 cacti that I can start. Now I can break these off, but for right now I'm not going to. So I'm just squeezing that. And on this one, I'm actually going to tap it over here to have it come out. And then I'm going to set it in. I don't want to get any stickers in me. So let's do our next one. There's a leaf, so I'm going to take that out. And we're going to shake this one again. There it goes. We can set that one in there. You try to get it at the same ground level as it was in the container. But the more stickers, thorns that you have on the cacti, the more you want to avoid touching it. So I'm just going to take some of that. And I'm just going to start tucking around there. Now I grabbed my one that I was going to dry. And there's the other one. I picked those both up. So I'm going to grab my soil, push this over, and just start tucking it in there. I want to firm it in some. I don't want to be terribly hard with it. I mean, they grow in the sand. Take any of those pieces of wood out. I'm just going around. I will give it a slight soak. The soil on these ones seem to be fairly wet. I didn't water them, so from the store they were a little damp. I'm just gonna build that up so it's about the same level as it was when it was in the container originally. and let me just soak especially the center, and we will be able to stack. Here are all 5 of my pots. So this is the one I'm going to do at the base because I want to set it on my outdoor table. See how it's making roots right there? I'm going to tuck that in there. And that's a great way to get more plants. I can literally take this off and I can root this. So I'm going to do that because this is a long one. Okay, so I'm going to make sure everything is pushed away from the center. And I'm going to take my next layer. And I'm just going to set that in there. I don't want to hit any of my plants. So I'm just, and then it just pops right in there. So let's take our next one. So I'm going to push those. I don't want to damage any of my plants. There we go. So now we have 3 layers. I'm going to pull the camera back just a little bit. Just that. So my next one is this one. I'm going to set that on there. Firming that, leveling it. And then my top one is this one that's the tallest ones. And I have to get in between my cacti. And so it's okay on that side. Let me get this one. There's a cacti right there that's in the way. There we go. So there we have 5 layers. I'm going to go put it on my table and I'm going to take some other photos and videos for you. Here's my stackables on my outdoor table. It does get a little sun right in this area. Not a huge amount though. And I just love the different textures, colors. And remember, I'm going to break some of these off after, well, next week sometime. And I'll show you how to root those up. When it gets all the way dry, I can finish knocking off any of the perlite that might be on there. But it's real cute. And my little gnome to guard it.